Physical therapy has a neck problem, but it's not just that the chin tucks, band exercises, and eye drills that you've tried don't work, because they don't. It's that even the so-called cutting-edge approaches, like dental splints and special glasses, also fail too. The reason? Both miss a crucial piece. And the crazy part is that this missing piece is intuitive and simple. And even crazier is that you can start doing it right now and see dramatically better results in a fraction of the time and cost. Now, I know this sounds too good to be true, but it's not. And once I tell you what this is, it's all gonna click. But first, I'm gonna answer a question you probably have. Who am I and why should you trust me? Well, I'm a trainer and physical therapist with more than 15 years of experience. And the only reason I got into these fields in the first place was to overcome my own chronic symptoms that started with a neck injury. And since then, I've been on a mission and I finally cracked the code and achieved that mission. I've made every mistake that I'm gonna show you today so that you don't have to. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so the first and biggest mistake, and the one which all these mistakes flow from, is underloading the neck. Now, why? In a word, fear. The neck houses critical structures like blood vessels and nerves, so we try to avoid stressing it. And on the surface, this seems to make sense, but it's not how we treat the rest of the body. Imagine this, you're going to PT for a knee problem, and they say, we're not gonna load the knee. Now, you'd be confused. How are you gonna get the knee stronger if you don't train it? Well, the same goes for the neck, but fear keeps us from applying this logic. Instead, traditional PT is usually just low-level chin tucks and stretching, not nearly enough to build true strength or restore neck capacity. So when you get back to daily life, pain often returns, and the stats back this up. Up to 47% of people still have neck pain a year later. And with persistent pain, we can fall into the next trap. Now, mistake number 2 is chasing everything but the neck. At this point, if you've tried traditional PT, you probably feel like you've tried everything. So you're more open to alternative theories. And the most common? Regional interdependence, the idea that neck issues stem from everything but your neck. I literally heard a respected PT once say that, quote, "You'll never fix a neck by working on a neck." He believed that the jaw, ribs, feet, and even vision all drove neck problems and were the key to fixing them. And sure, this is partly true, the body is connected, but it also works in reverse. The neck influences everything else, and if it's in the context of a neck injury, probably even more. So if your problem started with the neck, the likely cause and solution lies in the neck. Now here's the twist. Working on everything else can help. Sometimes a mouth splint, ankle drill, or eye exercise gives big-time temporary relief. And this big-time relief causes you to naturally think that this must be it. It's literally happened to me thousands of times. And this is especially the case when a confident expert backs it up with a compelling story to go with it. But 2 big problems arise when you try to apply this regional interdependence approach. The first is that changes don't last. This is because we're working the neck indirectly. It's like mopping up water on the floor from a leaky pipe in the wall. Sure, the floor is dry for now, but the leak, in this case a weak neck, is still there as the root cause. Now the second and even bigger problem is that you might actually make things worse. Here's why. After an injury, if you never restore neck strength and capacity, your body compensates to make up for it. This keeps pain down in the short term, but also keeps the neck weak in the long term. So, for example, if I can't turn my head to the left, I can just turn the body to the left instead to compensate. Doing regional drills might feel good, but is more likely to reinforce this compensation and keep the neck weak and underloaded rather than challenging it. Now, if you've tried traditional PT and regional work, you're probably going to end up here, in what I like to call obsessive posture and breathing land. This is where I ended up, and this is where most people end up. Now, if your first PT is into this stuff, you might get there sooner, but most will get there after trying and failing with regional work. At this point, the focus is on posture, gait, and breathing, and you'll hear these types of people say things like this. Position dictates muscle function, or you need to calm your nervous system, or your scalenes and superficial muscles are tight because they're overworking and you're breathing incorrectly. So you'll get exercises that focus on gentle, long exhales to relax and drop out of fight or flight. Now again, these can help temporarily, but it's still avoiding the main issue, underloading the neck. And there's also a darker side here. Unlike regional drills, which you usually just do for a little bit and then move on with the rest of your day, posture and breathing are constant. So you start monitoring every position and every breath. the slightest bit of tightness starts to make you worry that something's wrong. Now, ironically, this hypervigilance triggers more stress, which is the opposite of what you're trying to achieve in the first place with these exercises. Now, if you're anything like I was, you end up also avoiding hard training. After all, if using accessory muscles is bad, then intense workouts must be out. Now, ironically, the two breakthroughs that changed everything for me was when I took the advice from posture and breathing gurus and flipped it on its head. The first breakthrough came during the pandemic. My HRV, a marker of nervous system health, was absolutely terrible. So I researched how to improve it and found that the best method was actually better aerobic fitness. So despite fears about my neck, I started running really hard. And at first, my HRV improved, but my neck felt way tighter. But surprisingly, a few weeks later, my neck actually loosened up. At the time, I thought it was purely nervous system gains, but looking back, it was likely the neck muscles finally started working during running. The very muscles that PT had told me to avoid. Now, the second breakthrough was when I questioned all this focus on long exhales. They never helped me, so I wondered, what if inhales actually matter more? So I went out and I got an inspiratory muscle trainer to strengthen my inhale muscles. The first session blew me away. My upper ribs opened up, my balance improved, and even long-lasting hearing issues got better in just a moment's time. At first, I thought this was my diaphragm being weak, but after a few weeks of obsessing over that, it all clicked. This was just me loading the exact superficial neck muscles that my PTs told me to avoid. And this was the light bulb moment. I hurt my neck, never strengthened it, and so it never recovered. Seems pretty obvious. Now I'm loading it and everything's improving. So as you see, 15 years of struggle solved by the obvious. So once I realized this, I took my biomechanics and rehab background and I built a neck strengthening program, targeting all the muscles that traditional PT and alternative PT tells you to avoid. And in just 4 weeks, I cut my chronic symptoms by 95%. Balance improved, my rib cage was moving more freely, and my hearing normalized. I started being able to lift weights without tension afterwards, I was sleeping better, and most importantly, I was able to play music again effortlessly after 15 years. And so I wondered, is this just me, or could other people benefit from the same thing? So I released my protocol to 100 beta testers, and these were their results. Pain-free lifting, new PRs, easier walking, less fatigue, chronic whiplash and concussion symptoms improved, and whole body function better than it had been in years. So if you had a bunch of symptoms that started after a neck injury, here's what I want you to do next. You can take this insight and run with it. If you know how to train, you can take what I've told you today and piece it together yourself. I've already keyed you in on what the missing piece is, and that's progressive neck strengthening. I'm not gatekeeping it, and you're even going to find some of the special exercises that I developed in some of my other recent videos. But if you try this for 4 to 8 weeks and you're not seeing at least 80% improvement, then you're likely missing key details. And this is where the new neck protocol comes in. It gives you the exact exercises that I designed, the progressions and the standards that worked for me and more than 100 others. So if you want a proven system to restore your neck, then check the link in the description. Now, if you are DIYing it, make sure to watch my other neck videos, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and do all the things that help the algorithm to help me help more people. Until next time, thanks for watching, and peace.